I actually have a couple of questions of staff, and Ed, I don't know if these are for you, and you made the initial presentation, or somebody else. I'll let you delegate if necessary. I know the mayor has said a couple of times that ultimately the people will decide what they would like the area named, and I think what he means by that is that businesses will start identifying their own businesses with commercial signage, and perhaps neighborhood associations and business associations will start using the name that they like, which I suspect in many cases will be Little Saigon. Can you just answer this question? If this motion passes today and a business comes forward tomorrow or next month with an application for signage on their own business, and they want to name their business the Little Saigon Cafe, is there anything in this motion that would prohibit staff from approving that kind of an application, assuming that the signage was otherwise within city standards? So a cafe or a coffee shop starting tomorrow that wanted to call itself Little Saigon could do that. How about a neighborhood association in this area? If we pass this motion tonight, could a neighborhood association name itself the Little Saigon Neighborhood Association, or would there be something that we've done tonight that would prohibit that from happening?
Richard Key with the Redevelopment Agency.
Hồi nãy là cô nghị viên Madison không có muốn sự thay đổi, cô muốn giữ Sài Gòn Business Street. Ông Chuck thì cũng nói y chang như vậy, và ông nói là quý vị có thể tự gọi tùy ý quý vị. Giấy tờ vẫn nói là Sài Gòn Business Street.
Any neighborhood association in this area can call itself the Little Saigon Neighborhood Association, even if we pass this motion tonight. If there was a business association or a chamber of commerce in the Story Road area, after we pass this motion tonight, if we pass Madison's proposal, that wanted to name itself the Little Saigon Business Association, could they do that?
Ông hỏi là nếu mà sau khi nếu mà khu vực này vẫn đặt tên là theo lời của cô nghị viên Madison là tên Sài Gòn á, mình có thể có một hội đoàn đặt tên là Little Saigon Business Association.
There's a proposal tonight that stops anybody from referring to the area in business, in neighborhoods, in business or in neighborhoods as the Little Saigon area. People can do that as far as professional staff is concerned. Is that correct?
Đó là câu hỏi của ông Phó Thị Chinh.
I believe that because of that information, the answer to those questions, that there's really nothing wrong with this proposal relative to those who want to call the area Little Saigon. I think that what we've done here and what we will do here tonight is take the step necessary so that this municipal government, for purposes of largely internal staffing purposes, will have established some recognizable name here inside City Hall for how we refer to this area. And it's important, as Mayor Reed just said, that we take that step, as Madison just said, that we take that step. From that point on, there's nobody here that I know of, and I would certainly ask any of my colleagues to object if they have objections, to the community to continue the momentum that they've started, if that's what they want to do, and go out and continue to organize people around the Little Saigon name. That is not objectionable to me, and my support for this motion, I want to make it very, very clear that that's the case. I'm incredibly impressed with the democracy in action here on the one hand, but as Charles Dickens said, it's been the best of times and the worst of times. I have to say, in the many years, really dating back to before my days on the council, that I've been around public service and had Vietnamese partners in the private sector, a couple of whom I still have in business. I'm a little taken aback by the personal nature of the attacks on a colleague of mine that I have witnessed here day in and day out fighting for resources for the Vietnamese community. She carries so much influence with this council that when she says, I need several $100,000 for the Vietnamese Heritage Gardens, we approve it. When she says, I need this area identified and I need the Vietnamese community acknowledged on Story Road, we support her. When she tells us that she wants us to all show up and support a new museum opening in History Park, we all show up there to stand by her side. When she tells us that children's health care is particularly important for the Vietnamese community because there's many, many children who don't have health insurance, we continue to fund health insurance for Vietnamese children. That doesn't happen with just anybody sitting in that seat. And I understand that this is an emotional issue, and I understand very clearly that the loss of Saigon is something that we don't ever want to experience directly or indirectly again. And we don't want people today to feel that this vote, if it passes today, is symbolic at all with regard to the loss of Saigon. What this vote is today, this proposal is today, in my opinion, is the establishment of an official Saigon business district in this city, which, as Mayor Reed said, and I've tried to say here today, we certainly welcome and would assist the community in continuing to organize around any particular name that they'd like to have momentum around. And I think there's been a lot of momentum here tonight. Like I said, it's been very impressive. Some of us who have been around for a while were questioning when the last time was that we had an overflow crowd. And it was many years ago in the old City Hall. We're happy that we have an overflow crowd, but I would encourage us not to tear the people down who we have raised up and who are helping to lead this community. So thank you very much for hearing me out.
Liên Cortese cũng khen cô Madison Nguyễn là người có nhiều ảnh hưởng và công viên văn hóa cho tới cái việc để xây khu vực này. Và ông tuy là nói có vẻ ủng hộ nước Sài Gòn nhưng bỗng nhiên hẳn là những người ủng hộ nước Sài Gòn là tấn công cô Madison Nguyễn một cách không công bằng.
Much about the growing prominence of the Vietnamese American community in our city and how important this community is to our larger community here. I can't pretend to know anything about the depth of the pain of people who have endured a horrible communist government, of people who have endured extraordinary hardship in coming to this country. But I do know something about American democracy, about a bedrock principle of American democracy, that in a democratic republic with many strong, with people with strong minds feeling with some justification that an issue ought to be decided one way or another, that the only way we can move together is through compromise. And when a solution is reached, not everyone's happy, but we find a way to move on together. History is very important, so let's talk about recent history. The reason why we're debating this here today is because Madison Nguyen brought this issue to the council, and it would not be before us today if it were not for Madison Nguyen. Harvey Darnell made that point very well a few minutes ago. I think Vice Mayor articulated really some of the many ways that Madison Nguyen has served the Vietnamese American community and the city in ways that no one else has on this council. Now, the easy thing for an elected official in Madison Nguyen's position to do is to punt, to avoid the issue. That's the easy thing to do because elected officials are known for not tackling the hard ones. Another easy thing to do might be, as soon as you see that a large crowd of people disagree with you, change your mind. Go with the winds. Put up the weather vane. Whichever way the wind's blowing, that's the way you go. Madison has had the courage and the creativity to endure. Councilmember Nguyen has had the courage and the creativity to endure accusations of being a liar, to endure accusations of communism, to endure all kinds of accusations, and to try to seek a solution around which we can form some hope for moving forward. I think the words of the mayor and the vice mayor are very true. Ultimately, the community is going to call this district what it wants to call it. For the purpose of moving forward today,
Ông
I'll stand
nghị
with
viên
Mason.
Ricardo nói ông khen là cô Mason Nguyễn có sự gan dạ và creativity để đưa ra một cái proposal để dung hòa hai cái sự mong muốn của người dân. Dạ, quý vị đã thấy người dân của mình không được vui lắm.
Calm down. Okay. Calm down.
Ông Ricardo ông cũng sẽ ủng hộ cô nghị viên Mason tại vì đây là đất của nghị viên của Mason. Quyết định của ông là quan trọng nhất.
If